The Philadelphia Eagles are back in the bowl. How do we get there? A dominating performance across the board. We've been speaking about it from the start of the show, Sam, so I want to get your thoughts. No one thought it was going to be that easy. You could be the biggest diehard Philadelphia Eagle fan, and to sit here and say that they were going to throw up 55, which is the most points scored in a championship game. If you did say it, salute, I tip my cap. But the majority of people I spoke to said that this is going to be a good game and that, the Commanders are a good football team. I still feel that way. I thought the Commanders played well. You can't drop the ball 3 times on the ground and turn it over as they did in all 3 fumbles. And of course, an interception, 4 total. That's not the recipe for success in an NFC championship game on the road. This is the time of year where you must be perfect. And on the flip side, from the defensive side of the ball, forcing all of those turnovers to the offense. And the Eagles were perfect. They were great. Jalen Hurts played his best game in a long, long time. AJ, touchdown, 96 yards. Dallas Goedert, the chemistry is there. Again, everybody just filling in where they need to. This has been brought up with the run game. How about some of the guys that are blocking downfield? You don't ever get caught up in that. We don't talk about big blocks down the field like by AJ or Devontae or Dotson, whoever it may be. But it just was a perfect game played from start to finish by the Eagles. The only hiccup was on the special teams with the fake punt. And that, does happen from time to time. I'd rather get it out of the way here in the NFC Championship game than the Super Bowl. So I don't have any worries about the Chiefs running a successful fake punt moving forward. But literally, it was a belt to ass performance, 55 points. Defense gets a game ball. Offensive line, Saquon Barkley, they get a game ball. Who else are you handing out a game ball?
How about Tyler Steen? Does he get a game ball? I mean, how he stepped up. Cam Jurgens out. Landon Dickerson is playing center, and then Landon Dickerson gets hurt. My goodness. I mean, how he stepped up this offensive line, and that's just speaks to Jeff Stoutland and the coaching staff of how they develop these guys, how they draft guys, how they develop them, how anyone can really seems like anyone can just step in this offensive line and make a serious impact and be a part of this unit that dominates so collectively. It's like everyone thought when we lost Jason Kelce would be a huge loss to the offensive line. This is the best. Maybe it's because they have the best running back with them, but this is the best offensive line I think we've ever had. And that's without our all-pro future Hall of Fame center and Jason Kelce. Like, I don't want Lane Johnson to ever retire.
Yeah.
But as long as Jeff Stoutland's here and how he's drafting these guys, I'm not worried who's going to replace him because our offensive line is remarkable. So I'm giving the whole game ball to that offensive line as a unit.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you look around at the Chiefs and the Eagles, and they have great assistants, great assistant coaches. Spags could very well be in the Hall of Fame, all the Super Bowl championships that he has. His resume is incredible. Fangio is not that far off. Maybe the resume I understood, but bottom line is the perception, the reputation around the league is not far off. That's for damn sure. Fangio is looked upon in a highly manner. As far as the defensive coordinators around the league. And you just saw it last night with that performance, holding the Commanders to 23 points. That's a good football team. That's a good offense. A good offense. I could look you straight in the face and say, almost to the point that I would take the Commanders offense at this point in time versus the Rams offense. I think,
better quarterback for sure.
And Stafford's great.
Yeah. But at this point, like the way Jaden Daniels was playing. But that's the thing. I laid this number comfortably with the Eagles. I didn't think they were going to put up a double nickel at all. Not for a second. But I laid this number comfortably with the Eagles because look at all these NFC championships. I mean, the momentum that they have and plus playing at home, it's impossible to come into the Link and win a playoff game, let alone an NFC championship coming off 2 playoff wins before that. It's just the Vikings in 2017, that season, domination. The Niners 2 seasons ago, domination. Sure, Brock Purdy went out, still physically dominated that team. And yesterday was physically dominated the Commanders. And that's why I wasn't worried. Like, this Eagles team is the best, most complete roster in the NFL. Yes, that's a fact. Completely. Everyone understands that. This is also the most physical football team in the NFL. How they just dominate up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage is so impressive. We talked about this offensive line. This offensive line just wears defensive lines down. Run the ball. Doesn't matter if it's Hurts, Barkley, doesn't matter if it's Kenny Gainwell, doesn't matter who it is running the ball. Everyone just feeds off this running game and this offensive line, and eventually that's going to wear down defensive lines. And you've seen that every single win this season. The Steelers win, the Ravens win, the Rams regular season, and then all 3 playoff wins against the Packers, the Rams, and now the Commanders. We've been the physically dominant football team. And it's not just the offense. This defense is so physical too. The way they punch these balls out and force these fumbles and consistently winning the turnover margin, it's so impressive. And that's like the physical dominance of this team. It's like, okay, it's football. Everyone's physically dominant. You have to be physical. Not as physical as the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the most physical football team I've ever watched from the Eagles in my lifetime. Both sides of the ball. Defensively, they force these turnovers. Special teams. We saw that special teams play against the Rams, against the Packers, that was, to open the game. That is physically dominant football. Like, this team is so physically dominant, and that's why they're winning football games at such a high level and really just dominating their opponents.
Yeah. Look, yesterday's game was just a perfect performance. And as you pointed out to start, your take there, it's like, that's one thing I said on Saturday night when I did the hit on Fox Sports Radio with Aaron Torres. I said, guys, just coming in here and winning this game, like, I could look you in the eye and say that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders are not winning this football game. So therefore, like, how are you going to sit there and say, all right, I know they're not going to win, but they're not going to lose by more than 6 points? I said, it's just the wrong way of looking at it. So if you're wagering on this game, it is absolutely an Eagles -6 play or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't take the Commanders. They're not winning this football game. And it played out as such. So
just what a job by this organization.
19 playoff wins since 2000, Sam.
Unbelievable.
The standard on the NFC.
How about, you just talk about a game ball earlier? I'm giving the game ball to Jeffrey Lurie.
I like it.
And it wasn't it's not the best day for Jeffrey Lurie if he's about to buy the Celtics. There's some rumors and reports out there, but
good for him. You know,
who cares at this point?
Like, you got Josh and his whole deal. So
as long as you still prioritize the Eagles, who cares?
Well, he's going to hand it off to his kid.
Yeah, but he's not that old. Like, he's not like
Julian
Jerry Jones. No, I'm saying
Jeffrey
isn't that old.
He's getting up there, though.
He's not some Jerry Jones type, and Jerry Jones is the GM too. But regardless, Jeffrey Lurie, just what a first-class organization. The Chiefs and Eagles are playing in 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. Are there 2 better organizations in the NFL from top to bottom, from their president of football operations, the general manager, the owner, everything, their coach, their quarterbacks? These are just 2 high-class, well-run organizations, and that's why they win at the highest level. And the real point about this organization and why I feel like just this organization is so well-run and does such a good job is you have a guy like Jalen Carter, who was a phenomenal talent coming out of college. Eagles got lucky that he fell to them at 10, but he fell to them at 10 for a reason. There was a lot of character issues. There was a lot of off-field issues. When you go to an organization like the Eagles, character issues aren't really a problem because you have the support system. You have a guy like Big Dom, who people like treat him like a celebrity now, and he's all this. He's been doing this for the Eagles for a long time, taking care of a lot of off-field issues that have been written about because he's the guy. He is the head of security, and that is a large umbrella in that title. So guys like Big Dom, guys like Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, the entire support staff that goes into those guys' staffs. When Jalen Carter comes into an organization like the Eagles, he's not going to have character problems. And you have the veteran leadership with Fletcher Cox last year, BG, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey. You can control character issues where it's worth it for the Eagles to take a risk because it shows how great of an organization they are. Like, imagine if Jalen Carter went to Jacksonville. Dude could be out of the league by now.
Yep.
It speaks to how great this organization is, how well run it is, how amazing the culture is. That really starts with Jeffrey Lurie, goes down to Howie Roseman, and goes down to everyone else on staff.
I agree.